Coach Zach today. We are at Legends Warehouse. We're going to do the overhead squat assessment. The reason why we want to do this, we want to look at common faults and how to optimize your movement to allow better performance and reduce injuries. So April here is going to demonstrate an overhead squat assessment. So April, can I have your feet parallel with your shoulders? All right, I want the second toe to be in line, so parallel with each other, going straight ahead. All right, then we want the bar up over your shoulder blades, good. A little outside, excellent. And what I'm gonna have you do is press straight up over your head, so we want it a little in line with your ears, good. And when you are ready, can I get you to squat down to parallel and pause for a second? Excellent, and come back up. And so what I'll be doing is assessing from the front view. And can you do that again? And here what I can look for is what's going on at the ankle, what's really going on at the knee. So if we see these knees caving in, we can also see what's going on in the ankle, and this is what we want to avoid. So that's one of the common faults, is pronation at the ankle, which is going to cause internal rotation at the tibia and adduction at the leg, which is going to cause this valgus collapse. And then if we look from the side, you can come up for a second. Take a break. All right, let's fix your feet again. So we also know that the feet flared out there, so we probably have some tight fibularis muscles. All right, and let's squat down again, and let's see from this view. So from this view, what I'm really trying to look for is the angle of our tibia and our torsion, and what we want this to be parallel to each other. So looking at this, one thing I assessed that, hey, parallel would be about right here, so we're a little short of parallel. The other thing that I can see is that we're going to be almost perpendicular. You can see how we're going to be running into each other. We're not really at that parallel at the tibia and torsion angle. And then can I have you, April, face this way for me, please? Again, fix your feet, bring them together, rotate them in a little bit since we have this natural tendency to externally rotate. And then let's see you just squat down to parallel again. And if you can see on this side, I can notice on the right ankle, what we're seeing is how that ankle is kind of coming in. Can you exaggerate that motion? Can you have that knee collapse forward? And you can see how that arch just flattens. All right, this is what we want to avoid. So if you're looking straight here, you can see how that kind of fans out there. We don't want that. We want to correct that for me. We want it straight down, and even right there, you can see how it's going out of the way. All right, let's stand up. All right, we're going to go into a little more detail with those common faults, and then we'll give you some solutions what you can do to fix that. All right, so we just saw April do an overhead squat. We noticed that there was some limitations going on, so it could either occur at the hip, occur at the ankle. A lot of problem with overhead squatting or any kind of squatting is dorsiflexion, or there's two ways, either bring your foot up or your shins forward. And so if we're lacking that range of motion, we're going to compensate by either putting that range of motion somewhere else, like to our side of our knees, this is called pronation, or we're going to hip hinge forward and get kind of stuck at the hips. So an easy way to find out if this is an ankle or hip problem is to do an overhead squat assessment again, but let's raise up our heels a little bit, which is going to, take out that dorsiflexion. So April, if you don't mind, can you put your heels on the weights there and set up the exact same way? And when you're ready, let's do an overhead squat. Let's try to keep our knees tracking with that second toe. All right, keep our chest up, and nice and slowly go. Excellent. Can you do it one more time for me? And so you can see how the knees are tracking over the toes. So, April, you're doing an excellent overhead squat. Now let's view it from the side. And what I'm going to do is put these dowels, and I'll show you what I mean by the dorsal angle and the tibial angle. Right, we want them parallel. First thing you can notice, where's our knee line in relationship to our hip? That's right where parallel is. And then if we're looking at that tibial angle, right, and if we're looking at the dorsal angle, you can see that it's closer to parallel than it was before. It was like this. So the angle's not perfect, but it's much better. And April, how does that feel when you do that?
It feels better. It's easier.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. So this, I would say April has probably dorsiflexion range of motion restrictions that's limiting her to go into a deep squat and impacting a little bit of her squatting capability. So we're going to correct that. I'm going to show you a couple exercises what we can do to loosen up that ankle and then have you perform better. Alright, so we just saw April do the overhead squat assessment. We noticed that there's some ankle issues going on there. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what you can do to correct that. Alright, first thing we need to do is loosen up our calf muscles, right, because they're overactive. Next thing we need to do is lengthen them and stretch them. The third thing that we're going to do is put it all together, right? We're going to get more ankle range of motion by doing ankle range of motion. The three-way ankle movement is a good way of doing that. And then the last thing you'll do is actually integrate it into a functional movement like a single leg squat. This has been another episode on the Legends Skill WOD series. Stay tuned and we'll get you another one. Is that what we're doing?